The Lord wanna bless someone, he gives him a mother.
Hello and welcome to MoneyHub. We're listening to Joe Church. Thank God for our mamas. Today we have an amazing series that is going to be unfolding this month. And in the studio with me, I have two amazing moms and women and business, I would say mogul, okay? That's the word I'm going to use today. In the studio to talk about motherhood and business. And for the first part of this motherhood and business series, we're starting with the business of motherhood. So today I have two women who their whole business is of motherhood, helping the transition and certain areas that they feel. Right. So, man, without further ado, I would love to introduce to you two amazing moms in the studio here with me. Our first business mom is a doula, Bobette, and she is with Zurich, the CEO of Zurich Birth, and she's a dedicated doula, a childbirth educator, and the founder of Zurich Birth. Her passion for birth work began at just 8 years old, and it still surprises me every time I say it. Eventually leading her to earn her doula certificate in 2014. Since then, she has supported over 200 births, combining her experience with deep-rooted love for humanitarian service and spiritual care. She is a mother of three and a global citizen who has lived on three continents. And Bobette has offered virtual and in-person classes to empower and guide families through the transformational journey of childbirth. And I also have with me an infinite doll maker in the studio here. We have Theresa, and she is a visionary creative entrepreneur and the founder of Ghana's first global cloth doll brand. She is dedicated to celebrating African identity. With a background in fabric arts and design, she transforms storytelling into handcrafted dolls that reflect the richness of African heritage. As an empathetic leader, Teresa empowers women, especially those from marginalized communities, through skill development, job creation, and mentorship. She has guided over 500 students through her fashion school, and her work is deeply rooted in cultural pride, sustainability, and legacy building. She is blending artistry with purpose to inspire a new generation of self reliant African creators. And oh, so as my mentee was putting together the profiles for the beautiful business moms that are going to be on this series, I was just so floored reading how rich the mom lives are. Not just the businesses that you've started, but also all the things attached to it, the teachings that has come from it. So, first of all, welcome, Babette. Teresa, welcome to the studio, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you. This was quite an introduction. You have done your research. It
Thank
is an
you.
honor to be with you today.
Thank you so much for that. And firstly, I know there's two moms in the studio, and they both have very rich journeys. So please give us a little bit of extra time today and buckle in for an amazing session. So today we're talking about the business of motherhood. So before we go into the business part, let me come to you first, Babette. Tell us a little bit about your motherhood journey.
Whew, excellent question. So, my motherhood journey started a very long time ago. As you mentioned in the introduction,
Yeah.
since the age of 8, I wanted to become a birth worker. So, it wasn't about taking care of babies, but really the whole journey of pregnancy and giving birth. It's always been a
At
passion.
8 years.
At 8, at 8. And I studied midwifery when I was 19 in Belgium.
Wow.
Went to university. That's when I really fell
Yeah.
in love with midwifery, birth work in general, and it never left me. It never left me. I moved to Canada in 2013.
Hmm.
I became a doula there.
Yeah.
One of my mentors took me under her wings, and she brought me from one birth to another,
Wow.
mainly home birth, and she taught me everything I needed to know. And so After that, in 2016, is when
Mhm.
I became a mother myself. But I've been introduced
Wow.
into motherhood from a very young age, and I've never been the same. Once you give birth, you know
Yeah.
yourself. You're not the same. You're a more evolved person of
Yes.
who you used to be. So this was then, and now I have three boys, three
You
sons.
have three sons since then, and like you said, it just changes how you even do things. And you were introduced to motherhood very, very early, and throughout your journey, how did it change the way you even guide mothers when you had your own as
Oh, it changed dramatically
well?
because I had my first two births were in Canada, and
Yeah.
they were extremely traumatic. They were
Whoa.
not what birth is supposed to be like. So I was already a birth worker at the time, and I believe because I saw how it's not supposed to be, that
What?
I became a better
Yes.
doula, a better birth worker, a
Yes.
better advocate, because now I've experienced all the red flags. So I know
My
what's it
word.
like, to not be heard, to not be
Yes.
respected, to. So I believe that I needed to go through that
Yes.
just so I could become a better birth worker.
Okay, so just disclaimer to everybody that's listening. First of all, I'm a crier. I feel very, very deeply. And I have mentally prepared myself knowing just a little bit about both of you from encounter and from my research of you, that today's story is going to be a little bit more vulnerable than people are used to hearing on radio, if I can put it that way. So I am just going to disclaim to everybody listening today that today might be quite deep and a little bit emotionally deeper than you're used to hearing. But if you open your mind and you open your heart, you're going to receive a lot of gold. So just disclaiming that. So if you hear people sobbing, it's just me, guys, okay? Because the what you just said right now just floored me because um, I can imagine all the training that you've been through, and even through the time of training, the people that you had helped till you had your own, and for you to go to through you. You know, the worst thing is that when you have a traumatic experience as a mom who has no experience, right? You think, oh, it's because it's my first and I didn't know what to expect. But for you to have seen it, to have helped others, and to still go through a traumatic experience, it just boggles my mind. And so just imagine that feeling and you even knowing what the red flags are and seeing them happen to you. How has that, helped you in empowering mothers in their own journeys?
Well, I believe I'm already very sensitive.
Yeah.
And I think I became even more of an empath,
Yeah.
more patient, more understanding, more loving.
Mm.
And that's also what most of the moms that I work with tell me, that they
Yeah.
feel safe around
Yeah.
me, they feel heard, they feel at peace. So, and this is necessary. In this
Yeah.
type of business, it's necessary to be able to be that type of
Yeah.
person. So it is a business, but the human aspect is
Mm.
so crucial.
Yeah.
You can't not be in this for the money.
Mm.
You will fail. If you think you'll become rich being a midwife or being a doula, or if that is your number one goal,
Yeah.
you're off to a terrible start. So you have to be a good human being first. You have to be willing to give and receive very little, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But actually, that's not even true, because
That's not
seeing
true.
seeing a healthy baby born at a hospital or at home,
Yeah.
that in itself is a reward. Being able to stay in touch with the moms, getting invitation for naming ceremonies and birthdays, and this is it's just amazing.
So I'm tearing up a little bit here in the studio today because Babette actually was a doula for me, and till today I sing to the highest level. So when I say it's not even true about getting money, is because I recommend her to anybody who's pregnant. I'm like, look, you need a doula. And recently I was sitting at church and I was speaking to another mom who has a little girl who's just a month younger than my son. Turns out you were also her doula. And it just made me cry
Really?
because she was like, oh my gosh, yes. And you guys, I think, did a hospital birth while I had a home birth. But she was like, like our experience was so similar and she was so excited. And a mom who hadn't gone through that experience was like, man, I wish I had a Bobette when I was in the hospital. So,
You're
like,
about to make me too.
no. So every person in my life, literally, who's either a mom or is pregnant or anything, knows about you and knows just how impactful your work was on me. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, we started in the deep end, y'all, and today we in the studio with two amazing moms who have made their business motherhood. And Theresa, um, please tell us a little bit about your motherhood journey and where it all started.
Okay, I think I want to borrow her year.
Yeah.
So when I was young, so you can see this doll. So this
Yeah.
is one of my products. We make them.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was very small, my mom and dad will buy toys, like
Yes.
play toys,
Yeah.
and amongst them is the doll.
Yeah.
And I always want to be a mom,
Yeah.
play with the doll as if I give birth to the doll.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to link it up is me growing to this adulthood and finding myself taking care of children.
Yeah.
So I would say my adulthood or motherhood started after my mother and my dad got divorced
Wow.
or separated. Let me
Yeah.
put it that way. So we were just two. Unfortunately, my brother just passed recently, but I became the mother in the home. I remember during my tertiary time, I'll have to come back home. I schooled in Whole Polytechnic then, and I would have to come home every 2 weeks to cook for my father and my brother. And so I developed very fast.
Yeah.
And I understood why my mom taught my brother and I how to cook at a very young age.
Yeah.
Those times when we were 9, 7, we could prepare banku on the gas stove
Wow.
with one hand. Yes. I could prepare soup. Not soup. Like that's the hardest soup, in
Yeah.
Ghana.
I have not learned it yet.
Okay, but I could prepare that at a very young age.
Wow.
I didn't understand that till I grew to be independent.
Yeah.
I knew my mom had taught me well. So from 16, I have been independent till date.
Wow.
Yeah. I realized I had the flair for handiworks when I entered the secondary school.
Yeah.
My dad then wanted me to follow his footsteps. He was an accountant, and so I had to also be an accountant.
Yeah.
So I went to the secondary school to study accounting. In fact, I didn't like it. I remember there were days I'll sit behind, under there was a big tree near the administrative building.
Yeah.
I'll leave class, go and sit there, and I didn't want to just be in class because I wanted to go back home and go into catering.
Yeah. Into catering.
Yes, catering. Yeah, I wanted to cook.
Yeah.
I wanted to use my hands. I'll write to my father and tell my dad I want to come back home. I even told him the school I wanted to go to.
Wow.
And so, he will also lure me, okay, you complete it.
Yeah.
After I will take you to the catering school you want to. I completed secondary school and he pushed me to studying, registered me into ACCA and CA.
Yeah.
That's the Chartered Accountancy. And I equally found myself at Whole Polytechnic still studying accountancy. So I had the accounting background.
Yeah.
I graduated with it.
Yeah.
I did my national service at Ministry of Defense. Then I got married. So it was during marriage that I had to actually exhibit the motherhood responsibility or role.
Yeah.
I found myself as a teacher during the first 6-7 months of my marriage.
Yeah.
And this was when we were looking for a job for me in accounting. I was pregnant then. Unfortunately, I think I should have met her during that time, but I had a terrible miscarriage. And I was moving from Teshi to Tema every day for the teaching work. So I had a miscarriage.
and I was told by the doctor to be stable. So we had to like pause that particular profession. So then my husband thought, if you give birth, who is going to help you take care of the child?
Yeah.
Should you get a job in accounting? Our system, 8 to 5 means you have to leave home around 6, get home after 7. And we didn't have any. My mom was not there.
Wow.
And there was no way we could have someone in our home. We lived in a single room.
My goodness.
Yes. And so my husband suggested again.
Yeah.
He went to Nigeria to do missionary work. And there in Nigeria, you learned how to string beads. And so why don't we go to Dodowa? There's a bead factory in Dodowa. Buy the raw materials,
Yeah.
come home, you start stringing them, and we start making money. So what led me into my entrepreneurship journey
Yeah.
was motherhood. For me to be able to stay at home, do business,
Yeah.
and take care of the family. So that was the first thing that led me in starting a business.
Yeah.
After, I would say anger. Yes, like
Anger.
I mean,
Hunger.
hunger. The HUN.
Yes.
Hunger led me as well, inspired because things were tough.
Yeah.
We needed to make money. We
Yeah.
needed to feed the family. I had given birth to my first son then, and so we had to push.
Yeah.
My husband was working, but his salary was not enough to take care of us. We wanted to move from that single room
Yeah.
to a chamber and hall at least, because I had given birth to one more child. And so the suggestion came from him again.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave birth to my first son. I could take an old cloth,
Yeah.
cut it into a shirt form, and sew with my hands. So why don't you go to a fashion school? So he pushed me to go into a fashion school.
Yeah.
And around that same time, I was stringing the beads. I had even started training a few people in our porch.
Wow.
Between that time and the time I started my fashion business itself, I had gone into shito production. I had gone into Tom Brown making, and I had to go into Tom Brown making because we didn't have food. We didn't have money to buy baby food for my baby. And so I remember what my mom taught me, how to make Tom Brown. I made it. I'll go to the market, buy corn, the raw corn. I roast it. I buy soya beans and everything that I could mill to get a Tom Brown. If we could eat it, then I could sell to people.
Yeah.
So I started a business out of it.
Wow.
I went into the production of Fanti Kinky, and this I was taught by my mother-in-law. And the last product I equally ventured into was abobi. I don't know if you know abobi, but the Evers have this white long fish where you can grind pepper, roast it, and eat it with bankum. You can use it to prepare soup. So I go to the seaside, get a fresh one. Where we lived was a very big compound house of over 20 tenants.
Yeah.
And I was lucky where our room was situated, there was like cemented place. So I'll dry the fish there. When it's dried after weeks, I bag them and sell them. So this is how I started my motherhood journey. And it was all to be able to stay home, make money, and take care of the children coming.
Oh, wow. And
That's impressive.
can you imagine? Like, all I'm thinking about is all the different things that you were doing. It was to fill up your need.
Yes.
And then even from that became an overflow to fulfill the needs of others.
Yes.
And oh my gosh. Okay. You know, I warned you guys I'm gonna get a little bit emotional in studio today. And I know a little bit about your story. And the first time that I heard it, I was pregnant.
I remember.
And I remember rushing over to her after the session that we had, and I told her, I'm like, thank you for sharing your story. I didn't know what to do because I'm a media personality, and now I'm pregnant, and I'm like, who's gonna take care of my child? And I'm not really a person who likes being too far away from my child. That's not really the kind of person I am. And how can I do that? And hearing your story, it made me realize that you can create a new normal, whatever that is. And just going a little bit into your story about your family, like you have how many kids at
I
the
have
moment?
3.
You have three. You have three, and at the moment you are taking care of them by yourself. Yes. And not only did you start this doll clothing business, but you've also started training other women. How did that come about? And how are you able to,
Major.
yes, how are you able to merge those two? Because now I'm on the other side and I only have one, guys. Like, y'all have three, I have one. And I still feel the joy of it, but I also feel that that tightrope that you almost have to manage and balance a little bit. I'm feeling the strings. How have you done it for all these years and built a business and trained people in that business while having kids and a whole family? And you're doing it, and I don't think it's by yourself, but also without that partner that was helping push you in the beginning.
Unfortunately, my husband passed away in 2016, but I keep saying he laid a foundation.
Yeah.
If I had not gone into the study of fashion, I keep saying I wouldn't know. Perhaps there would have been a way, but
Yeah.
literally now I wouldn't know how I would have done it because I have an autistic son, and currently he's home.
Yeah.
He's home. He's not schooling
Yeah.
because of the challenge of getting a regular school or a school that will um, house him and train him. So how would I be able to do it? My mom wasn't there. My dad, of course, cannot because he's a male. In fact, I had to even take care of my dad.
Wow.
So at a point, I was taking care of 4 people: my children, my father, who was not, who had dementia as well.
Oh my goodness.
I've done this for 18 years. My first son is 17 and in the secondary school. I had to train my children to help me, my first and second. And so when you come to my home, they know how to take care of Bobby.
Wow.
And they've been supportive. They won't be angry. They just love him and they want to do it. And my first son, I'll say I put lots of pressure on him. The way a regular child will have their life, I would say my kids didn't, because of the setting we found ourselves. Like, kids are supposed to be kids, not adults. At a point, my son was changing my father's diaper, which he shouldn't have. But there was no way. I had to go to work. Someone had to do it. You bring an outsider in to even pay, and the person mistreats your father. I've had people live with me not as maids, but as girls who I was training. And in return, they'll have to also support me with my son, and they'll mistreat my son. And so, Zipporah, it hasn't been a rosy journey, but I have learned along the way. I have balanced my life. People who know me closely know that I live in the same business premises, but I have disassociated my home from my business. And so when I have to be in the house and business is even going on and a client comes in, the workers know that I am not in the office.
You're not in the office. You're
even
home.
Though I'm in the same compound. Like, I had to do that. So I'll get a call and a friend calls and asks whether you're in the office. I say, no, I'm at home. And the person will be like,
but your
home is your office. But in life, you have to actually balance your time, balance your way, find time to distress yourself. And I think I've been able to do that over the years. After 18 years, I have been able to. It doesn't mean that it's been easy or it is easy to. It is not. I'm still learning. but I've been able to balance my time with the help of my children.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a good mother.